Hey, what's up, guys? CACox97 here with The Walking Dead Volume 11, Fear the Hunter summary. Well, it's kind of weird. I just noticed that I'm wearing the same colored shirt as the volume. That's weird. Anyway, so yeah, let's get it started. As you can tell, Andrea is on the front cover, and it looks like people are watching her, and Fear the Hunters. That's, pretty cool. So, what will happen in this volume? Well, let's find out. So, oh, by the way, I forgot. In the volume 10, we haven't gone to this in a while, we lost, Dwayne Jones. We found Morgan, in the last volume. We found Morgan, and we did find his son, but his son was dead. So, we lost Morgan now. We've only got Andrea, Dale, Ben and Billy, Carl, Glenn, Morgan, and Rick from the original, first volume. But, yeah. So, do you think we'll lose any more in this volume? Well, we will find out now. But yeah, and, recently Dale has really not been trusting Rick a whole lot, and, you know, stuff like that. So, our characters are still traveling on the road. There's a lot of traveling in this episode, not episode, but, volume. They find a truck, or a van. They open up the van, they find a couple mattresses, so there's some happy news. They're gonna go sleep, they're gonna sleep in the van tonight. Yeah, everything's happy. Woohoo, yay. And, that night, while Rick is keeping watch, he grabs out the phone from Volume 9, and he lifts it up to his ear and listens, and Lori says, we should talk about Carl, and he just puts it down like, ooh, because she's still there. So the next morning, everyone's getting ready to go, and Andrea's like, here, I'm going to go try and find Ben and Billy. I think they went out to, you know, take a piss or something. She's looking around, calling their names. They're not answering. Ben, Billy, hello, hello. And she finds them. Oh, no. Ben cut up Billy with a knife. Literally cut him the frick up. And so Andrea immediately she cannot believe what she just saw. And Ben goes to hug her and says, it's okay, Mommy. Dale goes in and finds out what happened. Everyone decides that we're just going to stay here for a while, set up camp. So they make a grave for Billy. And everyone goes over what they're going to do with Ben, because Ben doesn't even realize what he did was wrong. He doesn't even realize that he freaking murdered someone, and it's wrong to murder someone like that, especially for no reason. And everyone's going over what they think they should do. Dale and Andrea are just thinking that maybe he just needs help. Abraham says that we can't let this happen again. I mean, what's to stop him from killing any of us in our sleep? We need to get rid of him. And so lots of people are arguing over that. Carl gives a kind of serious look at Abraham, kind of understanding, like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and you know, everyone's just arguing and stuff, saying we can't just kill a little boy. We're not going to kill him, alright? That's just wrong. And some are saying we need to kill him. Others are saying keep him in the van for now. Just get him locked up for now. And everyone's arguing and stuff, not sure what to do. And finally, they're just thinking, so even if we were going to murder him, which one of us would do it? It's like, you know, killing a little boy isn't exactly, you know, one of the easiest things in the world. So while they're all arguing, all of a sudden, some weird guy starts walking up with a Bible and a robe, and he says, greetings, brothers and sisters. Can you spare a moment to talk about the Lord? So, I mean, hello. And apparently he's this priest guy. He's all about God and stuff. Yeah, peace out. And he says, I've been in my church alone for a very long time. I ran out of food. I've been walking around for a couple days, and I found your group, and I was wondering if you could spare some food. I could maybe show you my church, and we could stay in my church. So they say, all right, but you try anything funny, and we kill you. All right, okay, all right. And he doesn't have any weapons at all. He's just been, you know, prancing around, zombies everywhere with a book. That's it. He claims that the only protection he needs is God. So it's a little interesting. So Dale and Andrea are going over what they think they should do. Dale says that they're just going to, he's planning to just leave the group with only Andrea and Ben, go off to, you know, some house or something and stay there alone. Just them three. So Dale really just wants to have a family. You know, while everyone is asleep that night, Carl gets up and leaves his hat by the blankets next to Rick. He gets up and walks out of the tent unnoticed by Glenn, who's the watcher. He goes up to the van, opens the door, and Ben is inside, and he says, "Are you scared of me?" And Carl just says, "No." Blam! Holy crap. Rick runs out and says, "Stay in the tent, Carl." He doesn't notice that Carl is in there. Runs over, everyone goes up to the van, and Dale just loses it because Ben just got killed. So he just lost both of his children. Even though technically they weren't his children, still, they were like his own. And they just died like that. So Dale completely loses it and then eventually falls over due to his, peg leg. And Andrea's just, they're all upset over what happened. And Morgan notices Carl going back into the tent. He looks over and sees Carl getting back in the tent. And he's like, what's that? Glenn points out, "I was keeping watch. I don't know who could have done this." And Rick is like, "We didn't see anyone, so we may never know who did this." So now there are two graves next to each other. So, Dale is just, he just wants to be alone for now. He just doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to stay here for a while, not do anything, because, he just lost his children, and that's gotta be very hard on a person. Morgan gives a funny look at Carl, and Carl just looks up back at him like, "What are you looking at me for?" But he looks a little nervous, so Morgan might have known that he killed Ben. The new guy that we met with the Bible and stuff, his name is Gabriel. He seems to be a good guy. He seems to be getting along with everyone in the group. He's kind of annoying, though, with all about, maybe God took him up into heaven to take away from all this madness and stuff like that. He's kind of being annoying to the group and stuff, but, he's at least not doing anything bad. And they kind of go over, interesting. Do you think maybe, any of the deaths of Ben and Billy had to do with Gabriel? And they're like, "The thought has crossed my mind. Has he done anything wrong?" Eugene is on his stupid radio thing and is like, "Nope, nothing. We just need to get closer to Washington, D.C. before I can get a signal." So everyone's heading out and moving. And, hello. Some unknown strangers are in the woods and they say, "Ah, crap, they're moving out. What do we do now?" "We just keep on following them. Fear the hunters." Yeah. So they stop at a place. It's nighttime. Andrea goes over to talk with Dale, like, "Are you okay?" Dale is just, he's just messed up right now. Everyone's kind of, talking and stuff. And Carl, while Morgan points out that losing a son, it takes everything out of you. I mean, when I lost my son, it was, I've never been the same, and he's not going to be the same ever. And Carl just blurbs out, "Oh, whatever, he's just being a crybaby. It wasn't even his son anyway. It's pathetic." And, hello, that's not of you, Carl, man. That's like, whoa. And, Rick yells at him like, "Dude, what the frick, man? You're not gonna do that." And Carl just says, "Let go of me," and walks off into the forest, just really angry. And, blah! Zombies attack him. So, they all get down and start fighting the zombies and crap. Everyone's shooting the zombies and well, actually, no shooting, because they don't want to, have zombies coming to where they are. So they use melee weapons and, kill all the zombies and stuff. Andrea wishes she had a sword. Michonne points out, "Oh, please, it would get really tiring. Michonne, do this. Michonne, do that. Oh, slice this zombie." It gets really tiring. And they hear a yelp. "Yeah!" They turn around. "Help! Dale." And they go over and they kill the zombie, and Andrea's like, "Dale, are you okay? Did you get bit?" "No. Frickin' thing just startled me. Ripped my shirt." And Rick says, "You better be more careful." "Shut up!" So, whoa, okay, alright. Sorry, Dale. And Dale just says, "Frick off," and walks off into the distance. So he's really just taking it hard. So after that, after the whole zombie attack and stuff, calming down, Rick goes over and talks with Carl like, "Hello, that's not like you at all. What the heck? Alright? That, I mean, why would you say something so mean and hurtful?" And Carl just says, "You forgot true." And so, I mean, they're both arguing, and Carl just says he's weak. He's just, I mean, he keeps on holding on to his humanity, and he doesn't realize that the things we need to do are right, alright? He just needs to get over it. He's just making us harder on all of us. He's just being, he's just being a burden on everybody because he's not helping or anything, so he just says we'd be better off without him. So, Carl's being practical, but, it's just, the kind of things that's going on in his head isn't really normal things that should be going on in Carl's head, a kid's head. He's getting everything. He's getting to know what needs to be done and stuff. It's just everything seems too easy for him. No one knows that he killed Ben yet, but Carl seems to be a bit different ever since he did that. So, Andrea gets up and goes out into the woods to, take a piss, and she hears something, and she's like, hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Hello? And she could have sworn she saw someone. Everyone comes out like, hey, hello, are you okay? And she says, I heard someone. It was a person. I know it was a person. They were watching me. Come on, let's just get out of here. So, fear the hunters. So, Abraham and Rosita are still getting along pretty well. Eugene is watching them, which is kind of interesting. Eugene is an alone scientist dude, the lonely person. Maggie and Glenn are getting along pretty well. Maggie's worried about Sophia, with all the children dying and stuff. Will Sophia ever be the same again? And, they're getting along pretty well. That night, everyone's, sleeping and stuff. Rick is keeping watch. Carl is crying heavily in his tent. Morgan seems to hear it. Interesting. Glenn and Maggie are asleep. Rosita and Abraham are asleep. So is Eugene, Michonne, Gabriel. Dale isn't, though. Dale isn't asleep. He gets up and kind of looks around and walks outside. He looks back at Andrea and then walks outside into the woods, and he hears a crick. Don't stop me, Rick. I'm just going to crack. Something hits him in the back of the head. A gun. He's knocked out, and these two guys are like, come on, let's take him back. Wish we had gotten the girl, but oh well. So that morning, Michonne asks Rick about Morgan, wondering if he's alright or anything, and it seems like she might like Morgan, so that's kind of interesting. But they hear a scream, Dale! Andrea walks out of the woods and says, I don't know where Dale went, he's just gone. So they all go looking around, go into the woods looking around for Dale. They run into a couple zombies at one point, but they take care of the zombies pretty well. Eugene and Gabriel seem to be getting along pretty well. It seems to be pretty good. And they look around for a while and they don't find Dale, so they decide we just need to keep on moving. I'm sorry, Andrea, but we don't know what happened. He could have been captured or something. He could have died, I don't know what could have happened. And again, Rick and Andrea kind of think like, does this have anything to do with Gabriel? Dale missing and stuff, all the weird things that's been going on. And they make it to Gabriel's church. So they go into the church, they get all set up and stuff. Andrea is just very upset because they just kind of left Dale. They don't know where he went. And she's just very upset because, Dale was like the person that she loved. She hears a movement out in the woods, and she goes back in and says, we're being watched. These people, again, are watching us. She yells at Gabriel, saying that this all has to do with you. And he says, I've just been alone in this church this entire time. I don't know what you're talking about. And Rick just runs up and says, bullcrap. Your story hasn't made sense from the beginning. So finally, Gabriel says his story, but it's not exactly what you would think. Apparently, when the whole zombie apocalypse started, he was in his church alone. And apparently all these families and stuff wanted to stay in the church. And they were at the door and stuff like, let us in, let us in. And he knew that if they were in, he wouldn't be able to survive very long because that, they'd be eating up all the food and stuff and more risk of infection happening because there are more people. And he says he turned them all away. So he basically let a whole bunch of families die, and he's very upset. And he believes that God has sent, our group to punish him. So, they believe him. So he has nothing to do with the hunters, but they don't know what they're going to do with the hunters. So they're thinking over, what are we going to do? So, that night, we are someplace else. We don't recognize these people. They ask, like, hey, is everything okay? What happened? The guy says, oh, I think the woman heard me, but they're probably, crapping their pants right now. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We'll just have to keep on picking them off one by one. And they say, hey, the dude's awake. So then, this guy named Chris, apparently the leader of the group, there's, 6 of them there. He says, hello, and he seems like a very intelligent person and just says, don't be scared, don't be alarmed, we are not here to kill you. We just, we didn't want this to happen, but we had to resort to it because, with everything that's going on, the, lack of food and everything that's going on, everything's very difficult in our lives now. I mean, a man's got to eat. Dun dun. They ate Dale's other leg.